Hello, welcome. Yeah, 2 days? No, is it 3 days? I don't know. I know I look like shit. Sorry, guys. I had a shower, came home, had a shower, had my jammies on. That's what I do now. I come home and, I have a shower, which is good, and then, get my jammies on, and then I don't wanna go anywhere. It's been such a long day. I have to say these last few days have been very, um I have to look like the only day I, like, had Christmas Day off because we weren't open, and then, working Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Today's Wednesday, yeah, Tuesday, Wednesday, so, um, but wanting to come in and, just so much Mercury in Capricorn, holy fuck. So much information is coming through. And Mercury's, going to be going retrograde tomorrow and will be retrograde for 3 weeks. And we have still Mars retrograde for another 2 weeks, and then Uranus is retrograde as well. Um, just all of this energy that's coming in for great transformation and change into our world and into ourselves individually. And this is an energy that I feel you can't focus on what you don't have. If you're still like, "Oh shit, I didn't make my million this year," or "Fuck, my business isn't working," and you're still um, hung up on that, you're gonna find that this um, you're gonna if you're gonna hang on to that, you're gonna go through the rototiller. That's what they're showing me. You're gonna go through this rototiller. And but if you let it go and you say, "Okay, yeah, I didn't do well. I didn't win the million. I am not living in my 3,000 or 10,000 or 500 square foot house that I wanted. But I'm in a place that I know, and that's the whole thing. I'm in a place that I know where I'm going to be going into a new direction. And I have to trust. Have to trust in this new direction, in this energy that's coming forward. And I feel this is partially what I feel, and some of the things that wake me up in the middle of the night is that in World War II, you know, a lot was happening in the United States. And some of the stories that my mom told me, um, the war wasn't a thing until Japan bombed um bombed Hawaii. And she said she was on a trolley when she heard the news, and she felt at that moment the world changed. There was a powerful change that happened with that, and she knew that um she wanted to make a change in some way. And my mother at that time, she was born on December 21st. So she was a Capricorn, like just a baby Capricorn, wanted to make the change. So she joined the Canadian Army. She was American. Um, but that's where I feel we're at. We're at this point where there is going to be a such a transformation where we're feeling everything is going in a certain direction, but there's going to be a pull that's going to say, okay, my life needs to change, and this is the direction I need to go into. Where Mercury is retrograding is where Venus, funny enough, retrograded last year in December and going into 2022. So Venus retrograded, and then we went into 2022 with Venus retrograde. Now we're going in with Mars. Mars is our god of communication and the ruler of astrology. He is the hermetic. He is the when you look at his symbol and his glyph, he encompasses all of the planets. He's the one who can go to the underground and go to the heavens. So he can go into all of these different realms, and he's able to communicate to all. And he is retrograding with Venus. Like Venus will be passing as he goes retrograde and meeting up with Pluto. So this is a part of looking at where our values are and our connections with our values when it comes to Venus. Venus, she rules relationships, and she rules that of our monetary world. And how do we create within our monetary world? She's the Empress. So whenever if you ever see the Empress card, you will see her glyph on the heart beside where the Empress sits. So here we have this energy of Venus meeting up with Pluto in getting the clarity. And I feel that's where we're at. We're wanting to get clarity in the direction of where we're going. Now, 2022 is going to be like a continuum. It's like you're not going to feel like, oh, 2022 and then, whoa, 2023. It's going to be like very much a continuum of the energies of 2022. We're not going to feel that kind of split until February. And where the planets are, like where Venus or where Mars is retrograding, is where Mars retrograded in 1942. Where Uranus is near 1943, 44. Yeah. And then we have the Pluto return for the United States for the Declaration of Independence. So we have this energy, this time to create. Now this time to create is, where do you want to put, where are your allies? Your allies personally. Where is your community? Where are the people that you can trust? Where are the people that you want to come together with? And that's going to be the most important piece as we go forward. This is where we are going to look at the structures of the people and of the places and of the things that we want to create, of the things and that we want to explode from, to grow from, to explode. I keep on getting the word explode, so we use that. So we want to explode or exploit from. So we're having this energy that we're moving from. Now, the thing is, with Pluto going into Aquarius, God, is, you know, it God bless my Aquarians. Now, I was talking to my daughter tonight, who's an Aquarius, and she goes, "I just want to be my individual self." And I'm like, "Yeah, but you got to look at your community. You got to look at what's important to you at this time. And what is that community that you want to build." Now, Aquarius, now all of the fixed signs have gone through hell. It's not over yet. I'm a Scorpio, so Pluto going in there is going to square a lot of what's in your sign as a Scorpio, plus the opposition to Leos, and squaring whatever's going if you're a Taurian. So even though Jupiter will be hitting Taurus next year, but trying to give it like a free um a free get out of jail card. So here's this energy that's coming in, that's doing this big push, where we are going to have to really stand within our groups and within our community, because that's what's going to help a lot of people. And there's not going to be a lot we can rely on when it comes to government. That's why prior to World War II. There was a lot where people built on community. You saw restaurants opened up and feeding guys that were going from town to town looking for work, feeding different communities, feeding mothers in need. This is where you started to see um, a more reliance on self, because you can't rely on the government or out outside of self, because you begin to realize that when you rely on that, when you rely on that outside self, that is your detriment. And that's where the energy is. It's like really getting us to look at what is our true strength and our true willingness to move ahead in a direction of the unknown. Because when Pluto goes into, I mean, Pluto hasn't been in Aquarius since 1776 or 1777, and that blows my mind that we're living through this. And the thing is that yes, we know that, we all have Pluto in our chart somewhere. But really realizing that this is so unique because of where it's hitting, and all of where all of the other planets are. We are seeing that, yeah, this is huge recreation of a world that we as community as want to create. And the part is that, you know that a lot of people have trouble with. It's like, well, I get up, I go to work, I drive my car, I go from point A to point B. I don't see any changes. I don't feel any changes. But it's when you start to do your shopping, when you start to go to the doctor, or you start to talk to your neighbor, and that's where you start to see, oh, there is a change happening here. Oh, okay. My neighbor can't find a job. Um, oh, the farmer is really having problems. This is where it starts to hit your individual self, and you start to sort of be aware of an awakening of what needs to be awakened. And with Saturn going into Pisces. Now, many who were born in now got to get the dates right. Hang on here. What year was he born? So those were born in, I would say, 1993 to 1997, 98, 93, 94, 95, 96. So those born between 93 and 96 are going to come through their first Saturn return. Now, this Saturn return is not like, um because you have Neptune there, and because you'll have your own Saturn and stuff there. This is coming back to God in a very unique and special way. So this is very much a coming to terms with your own spirituality and your connection to God, because it's in Pisces. And yes, you're going to find that, many of you will have, um where many of you may have, like, um where is it? Where's Uranus? Like, Many of you will have like, well, no, your Uranus will be probably in Capricorn. You've already gone through like your Uranus and Neptune, um, with Pluto going past your Uranus and Neptune, which is really, bringing crazy changes, movements within your life, new connections within self and trusting self. Um, but trying to figure that out. But as Saturn comes into Pisces, this is really going to really bring forth a spiritual revelation, epiphanies for you. Um, I feel my Geminis, oh, God bless my Geminis next year for the next couple years. I think this is where accountability is going to be a huge one. Bringing yourself fully accountable. And that's also, sometimes with Geminis, they're like, "Oh, I didn't do that." And, they are the twin, so it could have been the twin who did it and they totally forgot. Um, a total accountability for them. And along with Aquarius and with that opposition to Leo, I think, even with the Leos, it's coming back where it's not so much loving myself, but learning to love more in depth with the community and the people around you. And with that Taurus and Saturn, or Taurus and Scorpio, it's coming into the deepness of relationships and learning to um connect with the relationships beyond yourself. So, and Aries with Jupiter there, it's I got erratic startings of innovative new ideas and new entrepreneurial spirit, yet you have to bring it into the mundane world and continue it forth without having to rely on, or trying to pawn it off onto somebody else. So you have to, if you're starting something, you have to be the person in charge the whole way, Aries, not pawning it off onto somebody else and thinking somebody else is gonna pick up the the dead weight, but it's gonna be you because you're gonna be the one who has to continue it on and bring it forth. So, and as we go through, and I think with Cancer, it's really wanting to look at the home and what the home means and what that home is and who is within your home and who's that extension of your home. And I know Libras are going to have the nodes change into Libra and Aries, and Libra's wanting to bring it all into balance in some way. So they're going to be looking at this year, and especially the cardinal signs, looking at this year is like, how can we take charge? Like Capricorn, I feel there's a relief with Pluto leaving, but yet there's a part of, holy shit, do we ever have a lot of crap to put together? Do we ever have a lot of shit to get together? And we're all going to be feeling these different parts and these different components because we all have them within our chart and we all have them within ourselves. So there are going to be a lot of internal parts of this that we are going to have to reconcile along with moving forward and not trying to pick up things that were, or things that could have been, and maybe we're gonna give it one more chance, yet we've seen all of the scenarios of it, so it's like, no, there's not a one more chance. There is, this relationship is done, or whatever the relationship is. It could be something that is intimate to you, to a relationship with your job, a relationship with friends, or wherever it is that that I've seen all the results to this I know I need to come into myself. I know I need to come into my truth. And that's what this that's this week. That's the energy of this week going into January 1st. I haven't even really touched into further of what is going to transpire totally into 2023 and beyond. That's only this week. How crazy this is. And I haven't even looked at my economic dudes because I know that a lot of them are um I'm just quickly looking at things. Yeah, everything changing into 20, like even my economic guys are coming in and saying, you know, have they got the next one planned? Like, I mean, Bill Gates came out with the next pandemic in 2025. It's a severe respiratory one. They're already planning that. Now, he in 2019 came out with the coronavirus and talked about the coronavirus. And then poof, you know. So it's, sometimes I really believe these guys have astrologers in their back fucking pocket working for them. Doesn't it make sense? Because a lot of the um back in the 1300s and that, and which was a lot of correlation in the 1500s to this time, all of the lords and the ones with money all had astrologers on their payroll, and definitely went to to find out what was going on. They definitely went to the astrologers. So with all of this unfolding, 2025, we are going to be in the midst and in crazy continual chaos. It'll be like where the height of the war was in World War II in 2025. So that's why we're coming back to what community is. The thing is that when we look at um what was important, the importance of community during World War II, because of the farmers and what farming meant, and having to feed not only the people, but you have to feed the troops, and how important it was to feed them. And that's where victory gardens and all of that came in. And that's where a lot of old time farmers would come in and start teaching, you know, urban um, urban gardeners, the victory, for the victory gardens, they would host classes and things like that on how to grow, how to can, um, how to do all of these things, and how important it was. So that's the kind of, when we look at communities and coming together, that's where I see a lot of this. I know I keep playing with my hair. Um, you start to see where all of this is going to be coming together. So anyways, as I'm just spewing off here, as I say, there's been so much going through my head lately. Sometimes I can't write it all down. I have to. Um, that's why these are um, so helpful for myself and probably for my husband, because he doesn't have to listen, because he kind of rolls his eyes when I start talking about these things. And tonight I was texting Olivia and saying, well, this is going to happen, blah, 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 blah. And she's like, oh my God, Mom, are you like, this is crazy. Yeah. Yeah, because my kids sort of, when I start, especially if I pull up their chart and I start looking at things, and then I advance the chart into 2025, or advance the chart into, a different year, and I start talking to them about the things that are going to be unfolding. Um for them, it's like, "Holy shit." You know, they know they know mom knows things and sees things, but sometimes it's like, "Ah, thanks, mom." Yeah, I don't wanna hear it. The same thing is about the elixir, you know, but, that's also the whole thing about holding on to the old narrative, the strong religions, and it's not just the Catholic religion. You gotta look at the Muslim religion and the strength of the Muslim religion, and um, the Jewish religion. So we got the three top. Bryce says hi. Hi, Bryce. The three top religions in the world, and you gotta really look at the ties that they have. Where, for instance, because Pluto going into Aquarius means low birth rates and high death rates. So for 20 years we have we've already started it because um you know with everything transpiring and Pluto retrograde and all of that. So we've already started to begin to see high death rates that are unexplainable. So, why are all these young people dying? Why are all these young people having heart attacks? You know, and low birth rates. So especially in um, Western society, birth rates have dramatically dropped, and many say, excuse me, many say it's because they want to save the environment, and it just boggles my mind when somebody says that. Because I look at it and I'm like, you want to save environment? Excuse me, I just have to have a sip of something. You want to save the environment. Okay, but who's going to save you? Who's going to help you when you're old? Who's going to be the one to take care of you? It's great. You want to save the environment. Then what? You want to die, you want the whole human race to die out? I feel it's that's more of a detriment than it is a positive. Now, when we go into the Muslim world, which is mainly into Africa and the different countries within Africa and parts of Asia, Indonesia, their birth rates are doubled. So they are having double the amount of children than what the Western society is. So we're seeing, and when I say there is a rise up within within the very orthodox, um, strong religions, that's where you're going to see it. You're going to see it where those who have hung on to those values of these religions, that they want to force them upon others. We're seeing that in Indonesia and stuff like that, Bali and etc. Um, somebody told me that, well, Bali does that every once in a while, but I feel like there's just such a influx within the Muslim religion to really push towards um, having 5 children, 6 children, etc. And that creates their own tribe, their own community. Where here, everybody, you're going to find that people are strapping, trying to find their community, and that's because there is such a lack of when it comes to children. And the other thing, and this is The other part too is that the Western society is so elixired where the African community is not. So when you have a community that is high elixired, there is very much a lot more miscarriages are on the rise, um, deformed children, which when born do not live very long, is on the rise, etc. So this is where our trust in a science. Oh, okay. Okay. Hang on there with me with people. Okay. This is you got to fucking downloads. The trust in the science of man. When you trust in the science of man, it's going to lead you down the path of darkness. When you trust in the science of nature, of that, and I don't mean the trees and the grass and that, but of nature, of the planets and how Gaia works, and because that science of nature, that science of the ether is the science of God. And it brings you to a truth of who you are. Thank you. Don't ask me to repeat that. Thank God it's being recorded. Um, because so many are trusting the science of man. And when and I know so many, okay, so many people are going to say, but isn't man creating vaccines and things like that? Yes and no. There are ones that have been created with the alignment of nature, where penicillin, he opens it, finds penicillin, the polio vaccine. Those were those were a science of nature. Okay. Smallpox, a science of nature. Coronavirus, a science of man. A difference. And so many are following that science of man, thinking that this has to be the way, the only way, the true way, yet it isn't. And that's where we, as a community, individuals, have to really come into our light, come into our knowingness, and know, oh, okay, there is a science here that needs to come in, because the science of nature is debatable. Like we can debate, we can talk about it, we want to come together about it, but the science of man does not want that. They want the control, the power, the prestige, the money. But that's not what comes in on the other side. So that is where we have to really look at, especially because as Pluto goes into Aquarius, it's really going to bring in some crazy new discoveries. It's really going to bring in some interesting AI, and how we can maintain our humanity through this all. And Mercury retrograde is going to allow us to sit there to contemplate it along with Mars, so that we can learn this. And Venus coming in to look at our values in a concrete, structured way that is allowing us to create the steps that we need to get to the higher evolution of who we are as humans. There we go. There's my download. Thank you. Wow. Wow. So, what to take from this? The people you know you can trust, You know in your heart. You'll feel it. Continue that. Continue that with the people you know you can trust. Continue that connections in just even in whatever ways, saying hi. Um, Continue your prepping. Don't stop that. And know that if you are knowledgeable to be able to help others in different ways, this could be a stepping stone of you going into to be able to help people. So if you find, like right now, if you find people are like, "Ooh, they're trendy, they're this, they're that," and don't just dismiss it and go the other way because they're going to falter and fall. Um, this is a time of work. This is a time to really create and within the work. And if you're able to work outside your home and create that, this is what this time is. It is not a time of hiding away in your home trying to create something from home, unless it's like a sideline kind of thing. So, so yeah, there you go. Whew. Anyways, I'm going to say goodnight to all of you. And if you are wanting to join me on January 6th, definitely get a hold of me. It's $30. And if you enjoyed this video, there's going to be a lot more in depth details for 2023 and beyond. And I'm going to be giving some insight to a lot of the different sun signs. So if you're wanting to gather more information and wanting to connect more on a deeper level, definitely let me know. E-transfer or PayPal to the guru mama at gmail.com. It's all over my Facebook and Instagram. I don't really do TikTok because I think TikTok's going to die. That's just one of my things. I just feel, and I don't trust TikTok. It's run by the Chinese government. God bless them. So, anyways, may the Lord and Lady watch over and bless each and every one of you in all that you say and all that you be and all that you do. Onwards and upwards, everyone. And we'll talk to you probably tomorrow because I have the day off tomorrow. So, God bless.